Their skin was dark. Their languages were foreign. And their worldviews and spiritual beliefs were beyond most white men's comprehension. On a cool May day in 1758, a 10-year girl with red hair and freckles was caring for her neighbor's children in rural western Pennsylvania. In a few moments, Mary Campbell's life changed forever when Delaware Indians kidnapped her and absorbed her into their community for the next 6 years. She was among the first of some 200 known cases of white captives, many of whom became pawns in an ongoing power struggle that included European powers, American colonists, and indigenous peoples straining to maintain their population, their land, and way of life. While Mary was ultimately returned to her white family, and some evidence points to her having lived happily with her adopted Indian tribe, stories such as hers became a cautionary tale among white settlers, stoking fear of savage Indians and creating a paranoia that escalated into all-out Indian hating. From the time Europeans arrived on American shores, the frontier, the edge territory between white man's civilization and the untamed natural world, became a shared space of vast, clashing differences that led the U.S. government to authorize over 1,500 wars, attacks, and raids on Indians, the most of any country in the world against its indigenous people. By the close of the Indian Wars in the late 19th century, fewer than 238,000 indigenous people remained, a sharp decline from the estimated 5 million to 15 million living in North America when Columbus arrived in 1492. The reasons for this racial genocide were multi-layered. Settlers, most of whom had been barred from inheriting property in Europe, arrived on American shores hungry for Indian land and the abundant natural resources that came with it. Indians' collusion with the British during the American Revolution and the War of 1812 exacerbated American hostility and suspicion toward them. Even more fundamentally, indigenous people were just too different. Their skin was dark. Their languages were foreign. And their worldviews and spiritual beliefs were beyond most white men's comprehension. To settlers fearful that a loved one might become the next Mary Campbell, all this stoked racial hatred and paranoia, making it easy to paint indigenous peoples as pagan savages who must be killed in the name of civilization and Christianity.